Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Pensado's Place. If you're an independent artist, if you work with independent artists, if you mix them, produce them, write for them, whatever it is you do, you want to watch this episode. Two very special guests, a digital maverick. He's vice president and creator services and the founder of Repost inside the SoundCloud bubble. Jeff Ponchick is here with us, and an amazing artist, songwriter, producer, philanthropist, creator, all-around badass, hat-wearing Linda Perry. They've built a partnership together, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Quick note, NAMM, the incredible NAMM show, is going to move to June 3rd through 5th, still be in Anaheim. Love that they're being mindful of our health. Registration opens March 2022. But here's the cool part. You can pre-register now by going to NAMM.org, and you can receive all the updates regarding the move of the show. If you're interested in exhibiting at the 2022 NAMM show, also visit NAMM.org, and you can explore all the options. And then when we all get together, it will be party time. Now, you see this AKG mic right here? It's been out tipping, and it had a relationship with another mic, and they got a new mic baby, and you're going to see it next week. It's coming soon. It's pretty hot. Stay tuned. We'll give you information on that coming up. Our friends at Sweetwater have a new sound advice for you. Rachel Leonard is going to give you some tips and tricks on drum editing, and here you go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Sweetwater Sound Advice segment. Today, I'm going to give you some drum editing tips and tricks. First, it's worth mentioning that it's not always necessary to edit the drums, and if you're going for a live performance feel or you're trying to show off a drummer's raw talent or style, then it might be best to just leave the drums alone. Some drummers will want their performance to be left alone. Other drummers will let you decide what needs to be done, and depending on the style, some editing might be needed or expected. You might want to just edit a few sections rather than the whole song if you just need to fix up some fills or a couple little parts. When editing drums, I recommend grouping all your drum tracks together and always doing the edits to all the tracks at once. If you edit the individual tracks separate from each other, it may cause some unwanted phasing issues. You can chop at all the major transients, like kicks, snares, and toms, and then move the pieces as much or as little as you need to. Make sure you add crossfades to all your edits so you don't hear any clicks or pops in the drum tracks. Usually a very short crossfade will do the trick. Some people like to quantize their drums, and I would definitely recommend doing that if there'll be other percussion involved, or especially if there's going to be programmed instruments on the song. The electronic instruments will end up being exactly on the grid, which can make live drums sound out of time or flammy. Most DAWs have some tools to help you edit to the grid a lot quicker. For example, Pro Tools has Beat Detective, which will help you quickly separate and move the transients. It's always good to double check your work and make sure there weren't any weird fades or double hits. Another great tip is to manually gate your toms. Toms are not hit quite as often as kick or snare, and they usually catch some unwanted bleed from the cymbals and snare. A great way to get rid of some of that bleed is to gate, but sometimes manually gating them can be even more useful. What I mean by that is chop out the bleed of your tom track so that all you're left with is the main transient. You'll want to leave the tail in most places, and you can add a nice fade on the end that allows the ring out to be as short or as long as you want it for your song. It's also worth adding a very short fade in on each tom hit to avoid any clicks or pops like we mentioned earlier. Oftentimes, drum fills end with cymbal hits that can make it a bit tough to chop or fade the tom without getting some cymbal bleed in there. Get creative with your fades and adjust until you're happy with how it's sounding. Sometimes you just have to mess with it a while until you get it where it needs to be. Getting rid of that off-axis bleed should tighten up the rest of your drum sounds quite a bit, leaving you with a much more powerful sounding kit. Hopefully, these tips help you improve your drum editing skills and give you some new ideas to mess around with. This has been Sweetwater's Sound Advice. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Rachel. Appreciate that. We've got a bunch of brand new ITLs coming your way, some from Dave himself, some from friends like Jesse Ray Emster and others. Stay tuned, coming your way. Please hit us on all of our socials, like and subscribe, click notify. And without further ado, we had a ball in this conversation. So much respect for these two. Please welcome and enjoy Jeff Ponchick and Linda Perry. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
What's going on?
The amazing thing that I think is important for our audience to understand is these are two people who care about you as an independent artist. They put their effort and their money and their time and their thought into what they do so that you can win. The beautiful thing about music is it forces the marketplace to change to it eventually. And then you have to have people who are leading that charge. So Jeff, why don't you start with Repost and the program that Linda got attracted to, and then I want to hear from Linda as to why she joined the program.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of give you the quick background and story, I started a company called Repost back in 2015, which SoundCloud acquired 2 years ago. And I oversee two business lines within SoundCloud. So the first is an at-scale digital distribution offering. So if you're an artist, maybe just starting or anywhere in your career, you can pay a subscription fee and sign up and distribute your music to Spotify, Apple, Tidal, as well as monetize your music on SoundCloud, of course, too. And then the second piece is what we call creator services, which is where we're working with Linda. And that's using all the data for that at-scale distribution offering, as well as the SoundCloud platform itself to identify up-and-coming creators and talent and labels who might be hitting that, next level of commercial success, and coming in and offering them really kind of white glove hands-on services, right? So that ranges from things like advances in capital. We have an in-house marketing team that helps artists get marketed on SoundCloud as well as off of SoundCloud. We have account management to help artists do release planning, global strategy, things of that nature, offices in LA, New York, London, and Berlin. And yeah, as we came up with a program earlier this year, whereby we realized, as artists start to emerge and develop, how can we pair them with, honestly, industry gatekeepers and people who have broken artists in the past and have been successful at that, and use our data, partner with these people to help effectively give these creators an edge. And I think that's where Linda comes in, and the partnership that we've developed together.
Linda, can you kind of expand on what Jeff said in terms of how you're integrating within the Repost network?
Yes, Dave, I will. So the funny thing about it is that I've known about SoundCloud, I know about Repost, but I wasn't thinking about them. I wasn't waking up going, "Oh, SoundCloud, Repost." It was just something that's there. And then one day, and Dave, I'm witchy. I have a witchy way about me. One day I woke up and I was like,
Yep.
SoundCloud's up to something. I had no idea. I just had an internal gut feeling. I'm like, I'm going to find those guys, reach out to them. And then by chance, somebody that I was talking to said, "Hey, you should talk to Edgel over at SoundCloud." And I'm like, that is so weird. I literally woke up today going SoundCloud. Mm-hmm. So then he made the introduction, and then I said, "Hey, Edgel, I'm not just calling for any reason. Something, you guys must be up to something for the fact that I woke up thinking about you guys." And then he told me about how he's like, "Well, we actually are up to something. SoundCloud has teamed up with Repost, and we're going to start offering label services. And we really want to expand the growth of these artists. We see the community, they need help." And I was just like, I'm in. I'm in. Whatever you guys are doing, it's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. And it's going to kick all the other labels right in the fucking ass and get them off of their archaic way of thinking. And so I just jumped in right off the top, probably a little earlier than others. But for me, I've always been very passionate from the moment I realized I was going to be involved in music about helping people. For some reason, I want to help. And when I was in Four Non Blondes, I didn't get help. I didn't get the mentoring, the education, the information, the understanding of how powerful I can be. I had to figure it all out, and I did become very, very powerful in this business because I just kept my integrity. And, again, Dave, we go back, he knows, I fought a lot of battles, and I always stay true to who I am. So
always.
The fact that SoundCloud has this community of kids that are creators that are visionaries, that are pioneering their own careers and defining what success is for them, and being able to navigate through the community of SoundCloud, and then to have Repost on top of that, being able to now go, hey, we can take it one step further for you. And we want to do this for you. That to me is my dream scenario, because that is instant. We can get things done very quickly if you have the support. And unfortunately, the support that bigger labels offer are, if you have big numbers, we will support you. If you are, whatever, doing what we want you to do, we will support you. Like, I don't even, like right now, labels don't even support real artists. They're just, not saying that TikTok influencers are not real artists, but I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about the events going on in this business. And so I am so thankful, and I feel so like I won the lottery being involved with SoundCloud and Repost, because I know that this company is going to blow shit up, and it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be to support the community of kids out there that are trying to get their music heard. Repost is going to get it heard.
And I would say this to buttress your point, Linda. It's kind of the point I was making earlier. The marketplace will adjust to the conditions. And what we came up with is that the labels were all knowing and all seeing and all powerful. And what we're finding, not just in music, you can see it in sports, you can see it in basketball. The time of artist empowerment is now. Mm-hmm. The tools are being shaped and being made available. And on both sides, there's income to be made from doing it, from providing the services, from being able to get them at a cost-efficient rate. And the more people see, so we've got a whole generation of people, unlike when we came up, that are saying, oh, I can do this myself, and here's who I need to reach out to. We can see from our platform, when Jeff discovered us, we were 2 years old. We're now 11. We're in 200 countries. 8 or 9 million people watch us a year. We have 100 some odd schools that use us as curriculum. And we're now talking to them about things that we were not talking to them about 8 years ago. And here's what you can go do. And here's a school that you can find out. And you can go to school for 4 months, not for 4 years. And we can cut to the chase. And you can, so the exciting part, I'm like you, I sort of woke up to SoundCloud, which is weird, because as I'm sitting here shooting, I'm shooting in the bedroom of my daughter who worked there. And she would tell me things and I would go, yeah. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I went, wait, they're killing it. They're ahead of everybody else. And it is really, really exciting because it's not discriminatory. It's open to everybody. And also SoundCloud keeps evolving. They don't do one thing and just chill. There's more and more innovation. So to the audience around the globe, one, your tools now can be in one place and you can customize this thing as a suit individually for yourself and then adjust along the way. It's just absolutely brilliant. Now you have an artist, is it Frances Lyon?
Yeah, so Frances, we're going to put her on the side for right now, but
okay.
So let me just tell you this just now just goes out to the kids out there. Sometimes what happens is that we have to realize when you have the people around you are working harder than you are, there's a problem. So I'm in that situation with Frances. I'm working much harder than she is. So she's pushed aside for right now.
Absolutely.
But I do have a band called Surfboard that, so basically, everybody, what my job is now, what the partnership is that I got together with Repost and SoundCloud to say, okay, let me basically, I'll be an A&R. I'll bring in artists under Linda Perry. I'll guide them. I'll do everything I need. I need to use all your resources, the marketing, the PR, the everything you got, the support. And I'm going to find the artist. So I found this band called Surfboard. They're a punk band, LA punk band, and they are insane. And so literally, everybody was like, yes, we love Surfboard. And so I signed them up and made a record. Like, we did it so old school, was so amazing. I just threw them in a rehearsal studio. We banged out their songs, rearranged them, added, did this, did that, tempos. Okay, you guys are ready to go in the studio. Went into the studio, my place, banged out the record in 3 weeks. And then I never mixed before. So this was a new experience. They were like, we love your rough mixes. Can't you just mix it? And I'm like, So I mixed it and mastered at the same time, which was super fun.
Cool.
So basically I would send in the mix, and if I loved what the master sounded like, I would basically tweak my mix and send it back. Anyways, point being, the band kicks ass. I mean, they are so good. They're going out with Starcrawler. They just got the Starcrawler gig. They're going out with The Garden. SoundCloud is supporting a pool party, listening party that we're putting together.
Nice.
Repost has been amazing with the support, and Allison over there is awesome. That's who I deal with. And just everybody, just in general, it's like the whole feeling around this, it feels like everybody knows something special is happening.
Mhm.
And there's just a feeling of wanting to create, wanting to be in. It's like the workers are part of the community too.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
like, because SoundCloud is a community, and then you put Repost on top of it, it becomes world domination,
Yeah.
So now that's the piece that SoundCloud was missing. They were missing Repost. So what an incredible team. So anyways, Surfboard is my first signing in there. Francis is over here, and I'm working on that one. But Surfboard record comes out September 24th. I'm so excited. Everybody over there has been loving it, and we're off to a great start. And I don't have anything to complain about. I mean, like I said, also, I have to just say this because this is important. When you're in a label, you can't pivot at all.
Right.
There's no pivoting. You
Right.
can't all of a sudden go, hey, can we do this? And then go, sure. It's like it takes 100 years for them to figure out how to pivot.
Yep.
We've been pivoting like, hey, you know what? I want to hold the record back one more week. Okay, no problem. I'm going to do this. Okay, no problem. I need that support. You got it. So it's been, because the business, you have to navigate different right now. So
That's right.
it can't be the same plan. So you have to be able to pivot. In order to have success, you have to be able to pivot. And so that's what I'm super excited about right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. You got to be able to pivot, and you got to be able to move fast. It's incredibly important. And with regards to the Surfboard, like, the music video content is absolutely incredible. I know that was my first exposure to them, was seeing the White Claw and a Bong Hit video, and it just blew one of their tracks, and it just blew the team away. It's
oh, wait till you see this one. They have this song called FML, and Fred Armisen is in it, and he's basically going around the city because the song is about feeling down. And so he comes in and with his magic fingers, and somebody's like on the ground and feeling desperate or whatever. And Fred goes, and then they're like perky, happy.
Love it.
So they're great. But again, this is for the artists out there. The reason we're having so much energy and so much fire and so many things are coming to life is because of Surfboard.
Right.
Because their energy, they're working hard. It's a punk band, but they work very, very hard. They call me back right away. I say, I need you to do this. They're their own creators.
Yep.
They have their career in their hand, and they get to choose whatever they want to do with it. So remember this, because all you artists out there that are expecting things to happen like that, forget about it. Go back to babysitting or doing something else, because things don't happen like that. You need a great team, and you need to work together. And it's very, very important that you have that ambition and drive and understand who you want to be in this career, because you don't have those luxuries anymore, just sitting around and evolving, like.
And expand that, what Linda just said, expand the artistry thing. That's true if you're an artist. That's true if you're an engineer. That's true if you're a producer. That's true if you're a songwriter. If you're creative and in the creative space and want to be responsible, you are now competing globally. Anybody can send a file, and don't get your ass outworked. Don't sit around and be steeped in your hubris and stuff. I'm speaking to 50 students tonight at Ohio University for the 50th time in a row. And the first thing I say to them is, I'm going to select a few of you to get out of the business because you're not committed to doing it. Yeah. This is a privilege to be a steward in pop culture. And if you don't take it seriously, go do something else. No diss, all good. But the people that are going to get through, because they've tried to flatten it and commoditize it, and so the best now stand out. And if you don't want to be the best, if you can't figure out if you're going to be best if you're not going to work hard. And so don't waste my time or yours. Move forward. But that said, for those who do care, now's your time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think too important with artists and is that, you know, a lot of them, I send them home with the understanding of what just happened. Like, okay, if you were on an 87, I write it down, let them know I put it through a 1073 and a LA2A. And this is where my settings were. And I always encourage the artist to be able to do these things on their own, because sometimes, as we all know, our best vocal recordings sometimes come from when you just wrote the song and you're about to lay it down.
Absolutely.
So I'm always encouraging all the artists to know what they're doing, because it's important. Like for me, when I was in Four Non Blondes, the producer constantly just pushed me in the back. Can't you just be a singer? And I was like, why does my guitar sound so bad? Like in here in the room, it sounds fat. But in here, it sounds like, and I didn't understand it was reverb and compression, and he was rolling off all the low end. And then, you know, when I left that Four Non Blondes record out, I probably listened to it 7 times. I don't sonically relate to that record. But I started learning. I bought gear and I just put it all together myself. I figured it all out because I realized very quickly this was going to be a very important part of my creative tool. I was going to need to know how to engineer, because I engineer, I produce, I play, I write, you know, I sing, I mentor, I manage, I do it all. And that to me is so empowering when you know what you're doing, you know, and how to record it.
Yep.
Oh, so the key is knowing what you're doing. I thought I was missing something. Linda, I got to interrupt, because I love what just what I needed that you did on your iPhone. That was incredible. The whole group, the whole little record. You know, I encourage people to find that. It's hard to find, but
it's funny. So, like that stuff I started doing before it all kind of started. People are blowing up and doing that. I just like, you know, it was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna take a good song and I'm going to record it one take, you know, and on here. And then I would just find a good song, record it, and then I would post it, you know. And I was just trying to encourage people to understand that, you know, there's all these incredible things that we can do. And and Dave, it's the not knowing really is what makes you extremely creative, is not really knowing what you're doing, but understanding that, you know, to venture off. But you know, I think it's important, the simplicity of just a great song and a great performer. That's it. You know, and if you got to do all these tricks to everything, that's where, as a songwriter, you know, I get conflicted with music, because it's like, I just want to hear the song. I just want to taste the broccoli. I don't want the sauce. I don't want all the other stuff. Is it fresh broccoli or not? You know?
Right. Yep. We often, what we have learned over time and then often teach is use the technology, don't let the technology use you. Secondly, one of my favorite Dave Cobb stories is, you know, he's become a very good friend of the show for a long time, been supportive. And he said, man, I grew up in Pentecostal church. I sit across from the vocalist. I make sure I have a great vocal. And then everything else we do afterwards. And I don't know half of the shit that we need to do. I just know that it sounds good. And I was like, Dave, that is gospel, because just look at your work and listen to a Chris Stapleton vocal and then know that everything else supports that. And it's just getting to, you know, we tell people all the time, you're trying to be simple. It's easier to be complicated. You're trying to be simple and find the simplicity in what you're doing. Because at some point in time, if your gut and your head and your ears don't respond, all the rest of it is sort of artifice. And the other thing we teach that you brought up is being a hybrid. In today's world, you need to know a little bit of all of it. and they all inform each other. So if you can write and you can produce and you can mix and you can master, or you can at least understand it, iron sharpens iron. You're going to get better from those kinds of things. So it's exciting. I think, Jeff, from your perspective and SoundCloud's perspective and Repost, as artists learn new ways of being as opposed to the old traditional ways that were around forever, they have new innovations and new expectations and new ways to reach music. And you guys can be there to customize and pivot when you need to. And so the innovation on your side really never stops, correct?
Yeah, that's totally right. For us, we're thinking about this a little bit more like a tech company than a music company in
absolutely.
a lot of ways, right? Because at the end of the day, once the content's finished and you're coming up with a marketing plan, you're interacting and dealing with, TikTok is a tech company, right?
Right.
That happens to be in music. And so, to what Linda was saying earlier, the ability to pivot and move quickly is going to be incredibly important for us to make sure that we accomplish our mission, which is to help artists quit their day jobs and take music full time, right?
Yeah.
Like our mission is to help musicians make a living to their audiences online.
Yep.
I think is a huge part of our transformational vision of where SoundCloud is going too, right? Because I think everyone knows SoundCloud as a platform where you can upload your music, find audience, maybe go viral, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for us, what we're really trying to do is position SoundCloud as a partner in the career of artists, right? And I think that's a big part of, our future and what we're investing in. And, that's what we're running at just as fast as we humanly can.
It's exciting. When you've been around the business for a minute and you see the innovation, I used to say, this is a very bad metaphor and I apologize, but I used to say tech would treat music like the oldest prostitute on the block. and the poor prostitute, every orifice has just been banged out. She's tired. She's just doing it to, raise her kids. She's not in, obviously she's doing it for a reason, but they would use that up to do other things, to sell headphones or to sell other stuff or do whatever. And they were so ham-handed about the artist side that they never understood it was about creating a partnership with artists and then conforming to that and customizing that and leading it. And you guys do that so much better than everybody else. And it's fun to watch the energy around you because now everybody knows it and they're knowing it more and more. And the intuition of the company that understands the artistry is also super evident to those of us who've been in the business. Everybody likes to be around an artist, but sometimes it's pimpage. Sometimes it's the big, we're going to just, throw out this big album and sell 5 million. And then, we'll pay to sell the rest. You guys are actually partnering, like you said, with artists, meeting them where they live, helping them where they need to go and informing each other. And that's,
like there's marketing and then there's development, right?
Yeah.
And development includes marketing, right? But I mean, I think for us, and what we're trying to do with Linda, right, is how do we really identify the next up and coming superstars and get behind them and, think of it almost a little bit in some cases like a marathon and not a sprint, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what's the plan for the next few years and how do we really invest and really get behind with them and really partner in their career and get them to whatever that North Star is that we're trying to define for the act. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Who else is in the partnership with you? Linda's ridiculously badass. You could just partner with her and probably not have anybody else. And she has unlimited capacity, which is part of what I love about her because I get accused of the same thing. And I got some cool hats too. But nonetheless, who else are you partnered with?
Yeah, for sure. So of the ones we've announced so far, you've partnered with T-Pain as well, who's pretty noticeable.
Yep.
A few more, I don't know if we've gone out to market quite yet with the names, but a few kind of more A&R kind of management type entities.
Gotcha.
But of noticeable, T-Pain would be the other currently.
There's a platform which I'll turn you on to later that I think could be a great partner. Sure. I think they're called Pensado's Place or something, but I'll do some research and get to you.
Right.
But we do have an amazing reach that has ability to to hone in and find artists. We've done it for manufacturers, but that's not the same thing as helping the artist get a career. It's getting them access to gear or getting them access to other kinds of things. But then I get hit all the time with, "Her, would you be interested?" "No, I wouldn't, but I'd be interested in hooking up with some." So that's a conversation for another time.
So this is the beginning of a beautiful conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Happy to do a follow-up.
So Jeff, how do you establish a minimum amount of talent, I guess you could say, in order to put your resources behind someone? And so success is that 60% of the talent and 40% of repost, and how do you work that out? I mean, because not everybody is going to make it, like Herb said earlier.
It's totally right.
Do you have an interview process, or do you rely on Linda? Because Linda's got serious gifts in terms of recognizing talent.
Totally. I mean, I think that what's great about the partnership with Linda, right, is if you look at the company I built and my background is we're very tech forward, right? Yeah. We look at data, we crunch the numbers, and we've built a lot of kind of automated funnels and processes, right? Versus Linda, who has, a phenomenal ear and is a very experienced A&R. Mm-hmm. So, which is sort of the more creative piece, right? So for us, if you look at kind of SoundCloud holistically, right, you have the SoundCloud platform itself, which is millions and millions of creators, whether you're uploading, your first track ever or your, a fairly huge act. And so we have that pool, which we're tracking the data, understanding the numbers. Then you have effectively Repost, the Repost by SoundCloud platform, right, which is a subscription offering, which you can pay for, or you can get for free if you pay for Pro U, which is SoundCloud's creator offering. Mm-hmm. And that's in the, that is in the hundreds of thousands of artists who I would say are in the segment of, my music is ready to go. I want to share it with the world. Mm-hmm. I want to, get it out there, test actually making money, right? And we, of course, track and look at all of those numbers. Sitting on top of that is we have Repost Select. So this is our invite-only offering, which includes things like marketing. You're not reaching out to SoundCloud support if you have an issue, right? We're a little more on the balls of our feet. Our weight's more forward towards you and trying to help. And that we actually have a team of people who are actually reaching out directly to artists who identify through our own data or through other platforms, like TikTok or Spotify data. Mm-hmm. For that, where we start to really lean in and give more resources, that's when it starts to get a little bit more creative. We have certain thresholds. We like to see that an artist is at a certain point in their career before usually investing in them. But there have been instances whereby if, we know there's an interesting marketing driver or management or there's something exciting creatively that we want to get behind, we will, take a risk, to be completely honest. And then you have partnerships like, this with Linda and, that we're kind of starting to do, which is, where we want that to head is, if we really see something going bonkers on the platform from a streaming, independent, standpoint, and we can go to that artist and say, look, we have Linda who's has a set of experience that we don't exactly have in house. Why don't we pair you up and we can help get you to that next stage, right? And that's kind of the sort of top of that pyramid, so to speak, is like what is currently being built out and what we're very focused on getting towards. So to answer your question, there's a lot, right? There's a lot of different artists at different points in their life cycle and career as an artist. And then the other piece too is some artists, it also depends on the goal, right? Like if you're an artist who wants to be the next Beyonce, who I know Herb is, trying to call you right now or earlier, that's one thing versus a lo-fi chill hip hop producer who makes chill beats, who makes $5,000 a month, who we think we can get up to $8,000 or $9,000 a month and create a really nice lifestyle for. And either is fine, right? And we want to be a tech platform that services either side or everything in between of that spectrum. And so, we just try and look at that holistically before we bring someone into the fold and understand what it'll take and what their expectations are. And if we feel confident to help get them there, then we take it on.
Let me just say this to you, Jeff, which you've always been a humble guy. in the weird number of hats that I wear in my career over this time, it is rare that somebody both has the tech and the capacity to understand talent and to speak to talent, and you do. And very few people combine those two very well. A lot of people profess to, but very few sort of have it. So kudos to you, man, because it's evident, as you know, in my manager head, it's evident, my creator head, it's evident in, and that is important for artists to feel like there was some place that they can have a conversation where people get it and they're not getting lip service. This is super sexy shit. I just got to tell you that.
Before you jump, I want to touch base on what you just said about Jeff, because I think that is an extremely very important thing to bring up, because one of the things is that when you do go labels, they don't talk the talk. They are thinking other things. It's like this is the new way. You have to be able to sit down with artists and explain to them and talk to them and have this communication, because it's extremely important. A lot of times with the older school, mentality, it's like we're going to say a lot of things that really don't mean anything, and we're going to indulge you and impress you that we've been in this business for a very long time and we know what we're doing. And the truth is they have no fucking idea what they're doing, Right. And that's the way they get through not knowing what they're doing, by not being able to communicate directly and just simply, this is the foundation, this is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. So yes, the fact that Jeff can sit and talk the talk and be able to explain tech, to explain what they're looking for. And I think with artists right now, my job will be to bring in the diversity of, everything. So right now, Surfboard's a punk band. They're an LA punk band. I have other artists I'm looking at, and I want to make sure that, I'm a stallion. I'm a racehorse that wants to win. So I'm always going to be looking for things that I know will win. And I'm still learning along the way. Again, the big one for me right now is like, hey, no matter how great they are, if they're not working hard enough, I got to walk away.
Next.
Gotta go. Next. There's other people who want this and they're going to get it there. So I think that, with the platform too, I've already asked if I can dive into get some of the data so I can start monitoring this as well, watching who's popping off, because I'm not going to lie, there's a lot in SoundCloud. There's so much. It's actually a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to start watching it and start seeing what the activity is around. And then, like Jeff said, be able to go and say, hey, have you guys thought about taking this a step further? And the fact that you have the ability to control your career, because not everybody wants to be,
that's right.
Sia. Not everybody wants to be that. They just want to be happy in their room, making money, and then that's it. So I think that having the opportunity, let me say this, it's made people feel like they're not ambitious enough just to want that.
Right.
Right. And we shouldn't make people feel bad. That's why I said success is based on whatever you feel success is. And nobody can make you feel bad for wanting to chill out, do some beats, and just make some money doing that. And that's it.
Right. That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah. And I think to your point about like the old music industry, like not caring, right? Like, I think for us, and something that we've been really mindful as we've really built out this team from a team culture standpoint is for me, when I started Repost, I thought I would just start this cool music tech company and, thought it would be a fun project. We were solving an interesting problem, which back in the day was SoundCloud monetization. We got very good at that. And then actually an artist come to me and say, hey man, I was able to quit my job at like Starbucks or something and take music full time because of like the platform you created. And that was just like getting hit in the face with like a sledgehammer practically. And it was like, it felt so good. And we got so addicted to that feeling. And we hired people who, weren't in it to necessarily obviously you want to hire people who are in music, right? Of course, you want domain expertise, but people who are really here to help others, right? Is I think like the core piece of what we do. And so that's, I think, why when you try and mix the tech and the music piece, you have to just show an unusual level of care for the artists and creators that you work with. And just have that in every conversation that you have. So I just wanted to touch on that too, which I think is a little different than, other people who might be working at other music companies who maybe are in it for the wrong reasons.
Jeff, so how do like I'm a young kid, I'm talented. Is the entry in getting to you, is that through filling out forms on the internet? And I'll wait for your answer. And then Linda, how would I get to you? I know you get around a lot and people bring you things, but is there a one way for someone that to get to you? So we'll get you first, Jeff.
Yeah, for sure. So you can start by starting a SoundCloud channel at soundcloud.com. That would be certainly one way to work with us. But yeah, we have a marketing site, just repostnetwork.com, where you can sign up. And there is a application portal to qualify for the Select program, which I mentioned, which includes, financing and like more hands-on marketing and support. And those would probably be the creators that we would be bringing to Linda, if not, the project she's bringing to us, which is maybe a good transition.
For me, good question. So right now I'm just so used to things just always coming to me, but I'm actually looking, like I go on SoundCloud all the time. I'm trying to be, people send me stuff, but I need to now that everything, and honestly, I didn't want to come in too heavy.
Right.
With this, it's starting. I don't want to sign 7 bands and only one move. I want to sign 3 bands and they all succeed. So I'm going to move slow. I'm going to be strategic. I want to win. And to me, you don't win from quantity.
Right.
I know a lot of people think that, but that's not how I move. So I want to basically, Surfboard right now is working out all the bugs, all the things that I need. Oh, okay, this is where I need to improve. Oh, hey, you guys, Repost, SoundCloud, can you guys maybe step it up on this, that? Like, we're learning each other right now. And then after that, and they're already moving right now. And I'm so excited. And then I have other artists right now that I've been watching that I feel like, okay, this could be the next ones I want to bring in, but I'm going to move a little slow right now. And then when it's time, everybody will know where to send me stuff.
And Linda, I would say this, Pensado's Place has given us, when I came up with the idea for the show 11 years ago, we have sort of a unique view on the marketplace because we have independent artists across the board. We also have the standard classics and the big names and so on and so forth. And for some reason, Dave and I have been able to be a desired destination for people to come on. And what we do is we try to have human artistic conversations so we can find out what's behind the veil and not just hear all the standard stuff. What you just said, not only about the way to treat artists, the way you're going to approach it, but what it speaks about you is what I want the audience to understand. That is care. That is somebody who not only wants to make the right thing for the artist, but also likes to win. It's good. You want somebody on your side who wants to win. And that is a good thing. Sometimes that's been taught as a bad thing. It's not. It's just like her definition of success. If your success is whatever your success is, cool, you're successful. And to be able to get to that. So that kind of, particular strategic moving slowly, that's care about artistry. That's care about you winning, and you want to learn from that and then emulate that. And that's the reason people like Jeff and people like Linda, unfortunately, people like Dave and I have stayed around for so long, because we evolve, but we apply that same, when we talk to kids, when Dave and I talk to kids, and not everybody who comes to us is a kid. Our demo is like 18 to 60, because there's a lot of weekend warriors who love music. But when we're talking to kids, I tell the kids all the time, I will dunk on you. Do not get it twisted. I will come through the hole and jam on you. And you knock me down, I'm going to come back and jam on you. That is the attitude of a winner. I'm not showing off. I'm saying it's important to me that anything I touch, anything Herb Trolloc touches, wins and has a reputation for that. And I get better at it each time. The other point I would make, and I'll stop, is the best never stop being curious. They never think that they've arrived. They're always learning, always growing. I'm sure, and it must be exciting, Linda, to be in this now and have this evolution coming out of the major label system and saying, look at all this stuff I can go do now. Is it thrilling?
Yeah, to me, I was sitting with somebody and they were like, "Oh, you're Linda Perry and you're like legend, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "No, I'm just
Right.
Linda, and I'm still trying to figure shit out. I have no idea like I manage artists right now, and I laugh all the time going, and I told them, I'm like, just so you know, I have no idea what I'm doing. All I have is my passion and my drive, and I think I have, an understanding, but I'm going to make mistakes. But I'll just tell you this, I'm always going to let you know when I
Yeah.
made a mistake. So
Yes, indeed.
to me, that's the only way I can be, because I don't know. I don't know everything. I'm always trying to evolve. There's so many things that happen in life that create, change.
Yeah.
We have to pivot. And
Yes.
I am a master pivoter, man. I can pivot like that. And,
Yeah.
I was in a band. I realized very quickly, I realized quickly when I knew I should, and that I didn't want to be in a band.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And you did that well.
I got out of the band and I was like, okay, what next? Okay, I'll write some songs and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden here I am writing songs for Pink and Christina, me and Dave meet. And then all of a sudden I'm like, now I'm like, okay, I want to do scores. That's what I'm doing now. I'm going to be a massive baller in the scoring world. I'm composing right now. There's no one like me out there, and so, but it all comes from curiosity. I wonder if I could do this, because I feel like I could. So I'm going to go and try it. I feel like I could be a great manager. I'm going to try it. I feel like I could be an A&R person. I signed James Blunt, and I don't, like I said, I do things with purpose, not because. I signed James Blunt, my only signing. He sold 12 million records. Okay, on to the next thing. I knew it wasn't right for me. I didn't have the attention to do it again.
Right.
So I had to get out of that. And so anyways, I'm so excited about this partnership. I'm so excited about what I'm doing right now. So yes, I'm having the time of my life. And the fact that, Repost and SoundCloud, wanted to partner with me on this, I want to make them proud. Because that's how I am too. It's like, I want people to know they can count on me. I'm going to deliver. Trust me. And you have to do it with purpose. You can't do it carelessly.
Jeff, you are, one of Linda touches on so many things that are really emblematic of the way we approach things. We've always customized our relationships. We don't have a sales team, haven't had to for 11 years. My team will tell you, I take pride in the fact that our partners like partnering with us. They send us things and go, this is my favorite. And, these are some pretty sizable companies that still are doing it traditionally, but they come to us to kind of do it not traditionally. And you've created an environment at SoundCloud and Repost in particular that is just amazing, man. I am doffing my cap to you beyond the fact that we are inextricably bound. Thank God I made the decision I make. So tell me, what's the future, man, or the future that you can talk about?
Yeah, totally. And also, Linda, we're very happy to be partnered with you as well, and want to prove to you that we're good partners as well. So thank you for the kind words. Look, the future of SoundCloud, I think I said it earlier, right? It's, we want to position SoundCloud to be a partner in the careers of artists, and more than just a platform to find audience. And that's still a really important part. And we're going to be committed to developing and, growing the actual DSP platform side of things. But I think for us, it's, if you just look at the core metrics that we are looking at every day and what we're basing our success off of, right? It's, it's average revenue per artist, right? So are we getting the amount of revenue, whether you're a really, really early stage creator or artist or label or collective channel or whatever, to someone much larger? Are we helping grow your revenue through partnerships, through integrations, through, you name it? I think just general reach. So I think ultimately it's just foot on the gas, try and change as many lives as we humanly can. I mean, if you look at independent music in general is, growing incredibly quickly. It's taking a very big market share. And as the largest open audio platform in the world,
Yep.
We want to dominate that. And so, it's just gas on the pedal.
It's fun to be fans of the people that you work with. Listen, Linda and Sarah and what she's done. And we've been at about 4,000 NAMMs together where she goes on stage and on the Tech Awards and we come on afterwards, and just watching the career over time and the pivoting and the innovation, and Dave and her working on mixes back then that turned into hits, and standing for something. I think at the end of the day, standing for something is really important in delivering. And then obviously, Jeff, I can remember sitting in Oasis when I got the call from some Jeff guy at Full Screen. He said, "Hey, I've been monitoring you, this, that, and the other, that blah, blah, blah," and then ended up in Culver City at Full Screen, took a couple of tours, and the world has continued. And I am just so proud to know you, but more importantly, more impressed with your work and how you care about the community. So
grateful for our friendship. Thank you.
Oh, it is absolutely wonderful. Linda, we do a thing called Shop Talk, where we have the owners of their studios take their iPhone, turn it horizontally, and just say, "Here's my gear. Here's what I work on. Here's what I know. Here's what I don't know." Be great to get a Linda Perry shop.
Absolutely.
We'll do that afterwards. Dave, take us home.
This is gonna be a little different. Jeff, bear with me. I'm not gonna talk about you. Linda Perry gave me a career, and she knows it. She'll deny it. And I'm so blessed and happy to know that you radiate, Linda, and I've never seen you like this. I love you and hope to see you soon. And Jeff, except for the love part, same to you. See you guys next week.
Well, Jeff, I love you. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Wait, I have to say one thing. Dave
Sure.
Pensado has always, when I arrived, he was the first one to greet me. And Dave, you've always been such a wonderful human to me. Like, you've been supportive. We've had incredible talks. Remember when I got fired from the Pink Project? I got fired, and I told Dave, I'm not quitting, and they can't fire me. And I rehired myself. And Dave is like, "Good for you." Like, we've had many conversations. He helped me. He educated me. He mentored me. And I really deeply appreciate that. And so you've done more for me than you realize.
No.
Okay, now I'm done.
Drop the mic. We'll see everybody next week.